Cameron, maybe I'll start with you, or whoever has questions. I think you both have questions, but go ahead. Thank you.
I guess I'll start with some of the amendments that have come up from the committees so far. There was a call from Councillor Rowlands to add increase the amount of permitting staff that are going to be added over the next 4 years. She'd like to use the permit reserve to pay for, I guess, double the amount. 38 is the current plan for converting temporary staff to permanent. She'd like to double that. What's your thoughts on that?
I want to stay with what's in the draft budget, and what's in the draft budget is to add more full-time permit staff each year. So there's a plan to incrementally increase the number of permitting staff. To do it that way, we know what our cash flow would be, but it also gives time for a couple of other things. First of all, we don't know this year what the permits will look like. We don't know how much development there will be. I understand there's some developers, for example, right now who are waiting, hoping that interest rates go down before they go forward with their development. So we don't know how active the development landscape will look at this point. And second of all, the province of Manitoba is reviewing Bill 37 and 38. Some of the reason and the request for adding so many permit staff was to accommodate the new rules and measures that were put in place within the new legislation. We don't know if there's going to be any amendments to that legislation at this point. We do know the provincial government is reviewing Bill 37, Bill 38, and so that gives us also time to see the outcome of that review and to what degree that would impact our permit department. So I'm planning to stick with what is in our draft budget at this point.
On pools, we're hearing a lot of delegates today calling for city to step back from the planned closures of Hackland, Windsor Park, and Elgin Ross Pool. There was a motion that passed at community services to try to extend Elgin Ross Pool at least for this summer to try to explore potential private sponsors, I guess, to try to save it. How open are you to that?
Yeah, I'm open to the discussion, and I appreciate the delegates who are appearing today, requesting that we take a second look at the pools that are proposed to be decommissioned and closed. And so I haven't made any formal decisions ultimately yet myself, but I'm here today, as part of our budget process, is to hear from delegations, to consider what comes up through our respective committees, and to hear from delegations before we make our final decision. So there's still much to be discussed at this point. Today's a listening exercise.
Are you leaning towards a certain pool? I'm hearing a lot of Windsor Park is super valuable from several councillors now in the last few days.
Yeah. Again, I'm still listening. I've heard a lot about Windsor Park today. Just before we got into our break, in this moment, we heard a lot on Happy Land as well. And so, I do appreciate that this is difficult news for residents. It's difficult news for area councillors as well. And I really respect the fact that democracy is alive and well, and we're having discussions within the framework of our budget process that it allows for and encourages public participation and councillors to participate as well. So there's still decisions yet to be made. No, we haven't come to any final decision at this point.
Earlier this week, we spoke to some advocates who were concerned about the community connection space not being funded past this year. Councillor Duncan saying that he wants the province to fund it as he thinks that is their jurisdiction. Are you okay with perhaps the community connection space closing if the province doesn't step up with funding for it after this year?
Well, we're funding the community connection space this year. This will give us time to have dialogue with the province of Manitoba and to also get information from our staff. When we decided to reopen the community connection space, one of the things we asked our staff to do was to very carefully collect the data as to what resources they were referring individuals to that are using the community connection space. in our dialogue with the department, you know, a year and a half ago, they talked about the fact that many individuals that they're helping are being referred to what are provincial departments or provincial services. And so I do believe that there's a role for the province of Manitoba to work with the city of Winnipeg so that it's their individuals, it's their staff members that are helping people in the community receive and get connected with the services that the province is providing. I want to have dialogue with the province of Manitoba over the, you know, this year, 2024, to determine what is the best way to shape any service provision. So more to come. We're funding it for this year, and then this year gives us time for discussions with the province of Manitoba to perhaps have them assist in funding the community connection space in the future, or to provide their own staff there that would serve the needs of individuals that are coming to get services.
And what indications do you have from the province that they're open to that?
Well, I think that, you know, we're just beginning dialogue on several files, including this one. I think some of the priorities, you know, that I heard the provincial government focusing on, where they really want to help people that are struggling with poverty or getting them connected. Sometimes people need identification. They've lost their identification. They don't have their identification, and they need the identification to access some of the provisions of services the province provides. Let's work together to meet people's needs, but I think the city has to be very careful to not continually be drawn outside of its mandate, and really cautious against mission creep.
I'm not sure if you're gonna answer it at this point, but is there something you know you want to change in the budget at this point? Like that people have convinced you already it has to be altered?
No, there's lots to discuss. I mean, we've received a lot of feedback from the public. We've received feedback through community committees, standing committees that are making our way forward. I mean, one of the things I do support, Councillor May's brought forward a motion in water waste to allocate the $10 million that we received from the province of Manitoba towards fixing the sewer pipes that go under the Red River. I support that. I think that's a good use of those funds. I thank the province of Manitoba for that incremental funding. I think that's where it should go.
Actually, I asked Councilor this yesterday, now that you bring that up, and he wasn't sure. Has there been any feedback from the province on whether they would fine the city? Because they seem to be changing the Environment Act and potentially looking at fines as well. Is the city going to be fined for that?
Yeah, that's a question for the province of Manitoba at this point, but I am grateful on behalf of all Winnipeggers that the province of Manitoba has granted us, is giving $10 million to use it immediately. I think the immediate use, the immediate allocation of those funds is important. Let's take the $10 million, put it to use immediately to fix the pipes that go under the river and repair them as quickly as possible.
Any feedback on whether the fines are actually going to go up? They kind of said that was being considered.
I don't have any news from the province
Okay.
yet at this point.
Okay.
Has the city received the $10 million from the province yet, or do you know when that will?
I don't believe we have at this point, and I don't know when it would come forward. Obviously, we do know, all of us know that the provincial budget is coming out soon, and I don't know if it'll be, you know, part of that announcement or not, but I don't believe we've received the funds yet. But I'm confident we'll receive them. I don't have any question about the previous commitment. Okay. Anything further? No? Okay.
Yeah. There's no update on, I think this got asked last when we talked about Portage and Main, on the amount of tax dollars that comes to the city from the concourse?
If we do have an update, I don't know. I don't have that information with me right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Good. Thank you both.
Okay.